let's talk about Drake. That's how I'm feeling today. And I thought about if I wanted to do this video for like maybe a day because I'm like, is it really worth talking about? But then I thought about it and said, I just want to talk about it. So it's going to be worth talking about it. That's just how we rolling. That's how we moving on 2023. If I want it, it's happening. So basically, if you haven't really been paying attention, basically, given on when you get this video, recently Lil Yachty posted something on his Instagram. He posted a promo for a interview between him and Drake, really just a sit down by the beach type thing. And in this little promo, Drake alluded to retirement, basically saying that he's been thinking about a grand exit, which I feel like is him alluding to and hinting at retirement. Now, will he actually do it? No. Main reason why I think he said it was to get people to watch this interview. I do not think Drake is going to retire soon or anytime soon. Now, what do I think he should do? I think he should. And what I basically mean by retirement is a lot of rappers, a lot of artists, especially rappers, do this thing where they announce this retirement, which is really just them taking a break from music. Because I do think in the moment when these people do retire, they say it with the feeling of I don't think I can do this anymore, or I don't have anything left to talk about, or I'm just not feeling it anymore. Now, I think he should, mainly for the reason is I think he just needs a break. Drake has given us so much music, especially recently, that I don't think is on par with what he should be giving us. Drake, whether you like it or not, because I feel like people's opinions are Drake are very, it's either one thing or the other. You think he's great, legendary, a GOAT, or you think he's trash. Whether any of y'all like it or not, he is a legend. He's a certified legend. He is one of the GOATs of this generation. And recently, he hasn't really been making music that alludes that comes with the title he has as one of the greats. To me, in my opinion, and I think it's factual, the last time we've gotten a whole album where I felt like, oh, this is Drake. This whole album is just great. It's good. I love it. Is If You're Reading This Is Too Late. Now, just because I love something doesn't mean it's great, but it was great and I did love it. I love If You're Reading This Is Too Late. But that was in 2015. That was the last time I felt like we got a cohesive record from Drake that I felt like from top to bottom, while of course it had some records that you would skip or prefer over others, it was all good. And since then, he's given us Views, which I hated when I first listened to it. Now I've kind of come around to it a little bit. There's a few songs that I take from it. Of course, the intro, Keep the Family Close, probably one of his best intros, wasted on this album. But it's like he has some other things that are pretty good. He has, Child's Play, which is kind of nice, and Redemption, which I've been listening to a lot recently. I don't know what that says about my emotional state right now, but don't worry about me. I'm probably fine. But then after Views, he gave us More Life, which again I think More Life is much better than Views, but it's not really a cohesive work. It has a lot of things you would skip. Maybe that's because it's 22 songs long, and that's another one of my gripes with Drake recently is that every album has been so much to the point where it's like the bad is outweighing the good. More Life has some stuff. Passion Fruit is something that the song Passion Fruit, I began to love it ever since he dropped that dancehall record. You have Free Smoke, one of his really good intros. Glancaster, I'm not saying that right, but I really like that song. Portland, Sacrifices. You have Glow with Kanye. You have Do Not Disturb, another great outro by him. Again, More Life, but More Life wasn't just cohesive. Then after More Life, you got Scorpion, which is like 120 songs, and I want to kill and destroy the whole R&B half because what is that? And the rap half was just half good. It got Mob Ties, which I like. I kind of like Nonstop. I kind of like Emotionless. Survival was pretty good. Talk It Up with Jay-Z was nice, but it's the bad just outweighs the good where I can't say this album is as good as it should be or as good as someone on Drake's caliber, as good as something that Drake should make, I feel like. Because I hold Drake to a high standard because just that's what you have to do with a guy of his, I think, caliber, which the stuff that he's given us. He's given us classics, whether you acknowledge them as classics or not. They're classics. Nothing was the same. That's currently on my wall. Take Care, a classic. Thank Me Later was pretty good. Good little debut type thing. But then, after Scorpio, we have Certified Lover Boy, another album which I feel like was all right, not as good as it should be, way overhyped in the moment. But honestly, he just needs a second to chill. And I think even though he has been sounding repetitive, I see that he has these ideas. Like, for instance, Honestly Nevermind was a terrible dance record. It was a terrible dance record because it felt rushed. He didn't take any time and use the resources that a guy like Drake has. Drake calls your phone, you doing something. So why didn't he call nobody to help him? Stupid. But it was a cool idea, but it just sounded like he listened to dancehall for a week, said, okay, shoot, I'm gonna make me a dancehall record, bet, let's do this. And then 3 weeks later, he dropped an album, and I'm like, what is this? I see the vision, but it just, instead of going to like the light, it just jumped into the dark abyss, I guess. And then I feel like the same way with Certified Lover Boy, where you had this fire concept for an album that could have been Drake poking fun and not taking himself seriously. Because I feel like when Drake takes himself seriously is when he's at his worst. When he pretends like he's hard, basically. And Certified Lover Boy, he was pretending like he's hard. Drake is not at his best when he's hard. He's at his best when he's talking with his confidence, being honest and being vulnerable, but still, like I said, having that confidence. And Certified Lover Boy was just not good. It's not as good as what it should have been, and it was way overhyped at the time. But so I just think he needs to take a break, because I feel like he is a guy who has ideas for good albums, but he doesn't give himself enough time to flesh them out. Like, what I need Drake to do is I need Drake to sit there for 2 years, 2 years minimum, in my opinion, 2 years minimum, and not drop anything. Leave us in a Drake drought, please. First of all, it will do two things. It will make us appreciate you way more and probably give you a ton of the respect that you've been craving for some reason, even though a lot of people get it. You'll probably end up getting it from people you don't expect to get it from, which will make you happy because, hey, recognition and respect is always good. But also, you can really craft and hone in on what you want to do with your next project, whatever that may be. And you can actually come out here with something good. You can come out here with a good rap record if you take the time. You can come out here with a good R&B record if you take the time. I feel like he has the talent, and he definitely has the tools to do that, but he doesn't give himself enough time. I think he's just been rushing recently. I forgot about Her Loss. Her Loss, I feel like, is good. It's good because, one, it's short, and it's a collab effort. It's not only Drake. Even though I feel like this is just a Drake record featuring 21 Savage. But I feel like this is a solid album. I just think he needs to take some time, man. Drake's at a certain point where it's like there's nothing he can do to tarnish his legacy, but there is a ton he can do to add to it. And if he gives us one more classic, bona fide classic, he may be talked about higher up than most people have him right now. And even though there's a lot of people who be riding him and saying he's like the GOAT, which he's not, I don't think he's near that because of the amount of inconsistency. Like, for instance, a guy like Jay-Z, he dropped Holy Grail. And I think 5 years later, he dropped 444, which is one of his best albums. It's a culmination of just a black man growing up and maturing. Now, I don't think Drake will drop an album as good as 444 because I feel like that's an album only a guy like Jay-Z and maybe a Kendrick can do, which I think Kendrick just did in his own way with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But I think if he takes the time, he can come at us with a more mature album that is just overall better. Because this man I'm pretty sure he's pushing 40. I want to feel like he's matured and not just he's stayed in the same space that he's been in since he's been 20-something. It was cool then, but now it's like, hey, bruh, ain't you 46? I know he's not 46, but that's just what I be saying when I hear him say some stuff sometimes. But yeah, this is not a video of me shitting on Drake. It's just keeping it a buck and saying that I think he needs time away to, make the album that he make that great, another classic that he can make, and also just for us to appreciate him more. Now, I don't think he'll do it because the reasons to stay is just as many as it is to leave. The reasons to stay is anyone's gonna listen to whatever you drop. You drop an album tomorrow, I'm gonna listen to it 2-3 times because I'm gonna come in here with a review because it's Drake. I want to talk about Drake and I want to see what he's giving me. Even though I feel like it won't be good, I'm gonna still give him the time of day because that's what you got to do for Drake. So it's like people are gonna listen to it regardless, and people are gonna love it, people are gonna hate it, people are gonna talk about it. And everyone loves talking about Drake, whether it's hating or not. So I don't think he's going to do this, while me personally, I would love for him to do this. I think this may be one of the smartest moves of his career if he does. Just take a break. Chill with your son, man. Only time I want to see from you is when you post it on Instagram and you at a basketball game with your little boy. Besides that, work on music and give me something that I can love on, man. I want a good Drake album so bad for him because it may sound like I'm hating, but I'm a Drake fan. He's given me a lot of stuff that I listen to a lot. Like in my top 5 rappers for last year, in my recap, Drake was one of them. And it low-key surprised me, but then when I thought about it, it didn't, because he just dropped a lot of things I liked back in the day. I need some new. I need some new good stuff, Drake. That's just it. And that's really all I have to say about this. Thank you for watching and listening. This is my first video about music, so I'm just interested to see what y'all think. And yeah, thank you for watching. Peace.